Good afternoon, and welcome to ShirtPocket Productions. I cannot see this screen at all. The sun is just too bright, and even without my sunglasses, I can't see shit. It doesn't look like there's anybody here yet. Anyway, I came down here for a couple of reasons. I came down to try out on a ride my new helmet, which I talked about yesterday. I'm trying to switch this camera around. I can't even see the motherfucking buttons. It's got to be up here somewhere. Son of a bitch. There it is. There. This helmet here, this AGV Sport Modular Carbon. So I wore it. I've got about, I don't know, 30, 40 miles on it now. Long enough to love it. Love it. It is super, super light. A couple little issues that are more getting used to than anything else. Love the helmet. It is, its lightness is its big thing. It's big thing. Yeah, it's not, I'm not used to it like the Shoei, and there are some things about the Shoei I do like better, but the Shoei weighs a full pound plus heavier, and it makes a difference. It makes a big difference. I'm gonna walk over here now, because this is what I came to Sac Harley for. I wanted to see for myself these new Pan Americans, and they've got the truck here. These guys are on tour. These are all Pan American specials with the exception of the two on the end. I just rode that black one right there. It's on the guy in the red shirt is on the other side of it. Let me see, I can zoom in here. Yeah, that black one right there, I just rode it. It's got about 2,000 miles on it. I put about, 20 of them. Probably should have put a little bit less on it, except I missed a turn and ended up extending my test ride a little bit. Anyway, it's a pretty cool bike. I wasn't expecting to be able to test ride it. I didn't make a reservation like they were saying, and I got here and I came around to look at them and check them out, and I'm trying to zoom back out. It is not cooperating. Anyway, check them out and really just take a look at them. Maybe sit on one. And I got to do a little more than that. They and by the way, if anybody wants to ride one, they're not backed up. You can come down here, walk up, and take one for a ride. All you need is the right gear and a helmet and a motorcycle license, and they'll let you take one for a ride. Fill out a couple of things. It is actually way easier to take one of these for a ride than it is to test ride a bike as if you were going to buy one. Way easier. Why can't I zoom back out? It doesn't matter. Okay, there I am. Anyway, so I kind of want to love it and I kind of want to hate it. That was before I rode it. I don't like the way it looks. Not the engine so much. I know that when you add liquid cooling, when you add overhead cams, when you do the things they needed to do to this engine to make it do what they needed it to do, it's not going to look like a Harley motor. It's not going to sound like one either, and it doesn't either of those things. It sounds quiet, but I'll tell you what, it's a powerful motherfucker, and not in a torquey way like my bike is. If you put that motor in my bike, the weight would overwhelm it. It doesn't have the torque needed to push a lot of weight, but for a bike of its size and weight, 150 horsepower, you can feel that shit. And it gets out of its own way. I took it on surface streets and I took it on the freeway, and it took me a minute to get used to the controls and the short reach of the brake lever and the shift lever. It took me a minute to get used to a few things about the bike, where the controls are and everything, but midway through the ride I was pretty comfortable on it, and it handles real good. It's got good power. Brakes real good too. I was actually got caught by hang on a sec. Caught by a red light I had to stop pretty fast for, and it stopped real good. No problem at all. And so here I am in this position of thinking this bike is a pretty good performer. Now, I have to add the caveat. I did not ride it very far. I'd say at most 30 miles, maybe less than that. And I did not ride it off-road, and I did not push it super hard, and I did not really run it through its paces. It's not a KTM like this guy's bike. Or this guy's bike. I don't know what that is. Probably KTM too. These guys are over here checking it out too. So I'm going to buy a new bike probably in 2022 or 2023. That's probably going to happen. This bike is going to get not retired, but it'll be probably placed in second position. It won't be the main bike anymore. But that depends a little bit on the bike I end up getting and what kind of riding I end up doing at that point. I have ridden many of the paved roads in the western United States that I want to ride, and many of them I've ridden multiple times, and that's not a bad thing. I've ridden them multiple times because they're great roads to ride, and I'll ride them again. But there are a lot of roads that I haven't ridden because they're not paved. Some of them I've been through on my truck, with my truck, four-wheel drive. Others are too small for even that, and there's a lot of really cool stuff you can see with a bike like that, that I can't access right now. I've taken this bike off-road a few times, nothing like those things are capable of, but there's some cool shit out there, and I wouldn't mind exploring it. The other direction I might go is another touring bike, and if I do that, it'll be a fixed fairing touring bike, and it'll either be a Road Glide or an Indian Challenger. We're talking, $25,000 to $35,000 on a new bike at that point, or a relatively new bike. So it's not a small deal. So I'm not exactly shopping. I'm not exactly making any decisions yet. But I didn't want to like this bike as much as I ended up liking it. It's a pretty good bike. And I'm still not happy with the corporate suits at Harley-Davidson. If you guys are listening, you guys are still a bunch of assholes. Pull your heads out of your fucking asses and start realizing where your money comes from. Treat your customers like they mean something to you. But your engineers, your product development people, they made a pretty good bike. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, I don't know if I'll ride another one anytime soon, but we'll see. Until next time, peace.